You've promised yourself 1,000 times that in 6 months times, 1 year's time, you were gonna have this dream body, that dream weight. Maybe you would get started for a few weeks and then you just revert back to old habits. So you feel stuck and you don't really know why you can't change. One of my favorite quotes attributed to Einstein is the definition of insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Here's the thing, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So you have to have a different process, a different mindset, and potentially different tools so you can finally change and hopefully getting results like this. Here are the chapters for this video. Don't forget that this is also available on podcast. Let's get into it. You've been lying to yourself. 100%. And we all do that, right? We all say things like, oh, I'll start again tomorrow, I'll start again on Monday, I'll start again in January. But deep down, you know that you're lying. And therefore, every time you break that promise of either starting or actually pushing through and continuing something, you have less trust in yourself, and the lower your trust, the least likely you are to actually, follow through. So that is called self-efficacy, which is a theory by Albert Bandura, and it shows that your beliefs in your ability to complete something is what will actually get you to complete something in the first place. If you don't believe that you're gonna get there, if you don't believe that you're gonna change, you're not gonna change. That's as simple as that. And the repeated failures that you've experienced in the past of, trying, for example, in the New Year's to change and failing will lower your self-efficacy, and that creates a cycle of self-doubt, which is really difficult to get out of because your brain will know, and therefore if you've skipped the past 10 workouts, let's say, it's going to be really difficult to get yourself to go to the gym because you feel like you've been lying to yourself when you said, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym every single day. So the first tip, actionable tip that I can give you right now is to start fucking small. Really small, whatever you want to do. So we're gonna go into fitness, right? But it doesn't really only apply to fitness. If you say, okay, I want to get that dream body, cool. What is the one little step that you can take right now, that you can take today? Maybe it's eating healthier, maybe it's actually doing some movement. Whatever it may be, just start with the first smallest step and don't be over the top in terms of your expectations. There is a huge thing about expectation as well. When you expect yourself to go to the gym every single day, you're gonna fuck up. That's so unrealistic. What you could do, however, is say, okay, I'm gonna go twice this week. That's really realistic. That's not as hard. You can do this, and then that builds your self-efficacy that I've just talked about, and therefore you start building that trust that, okay, I'm someone who kind of goes to the gym, and then you keep on showing up, and then maybe you add a third workout in, and oh, okay, I'm someone who goes 3 times to the gym, and it's just going to build that self-efficacy. You're gonna believe that, first of all, you can do it, and then it's gonna become your identity of like, I'm a gym girl, and therefore that's how it just literally becomes so easy. But you have to have that small change. It's not going to be done overnight from nothing to I'm a gym girl. It starts with implementing a small habit that is really sustainable, that you can actually follow through, and then the longer you actually keep up with that, the easier it will become part of your identity, and then you will have fully changed. Now, for those of you watching in November, December, I know what you're thinking. Okay, cool, I will start in January. And I know January feels like a fresh start, the new year, New Year's resolution, but what did we just talk about? First of all, I've made a few videos, I think too, about why this is not a good idea, so you can always watch that. The thing is, you've already showed yourself in the past, I'm sure of it, so have I, that you fuck up in January, that you're gonna start really like strong and then it's just going to wane down and you're gonna end up quitting. And that means that if you wait for January, unconsciously or subconsciously or even consciously actually, you will know that it's not gonna last for very long and that you're gonna fuck up at some point and you're gonna quit, and New Year's resolution, you never maintain those. So we're back to that self-efficacy of you've showed yourself proofs in the past that you will not follow through. So what you're gonna do is start today. Again, find the action that you can start right now. Right away, what can you do? And just keep on going. We've got what, 6 weeks from when I'm filming this video until the end of this year? 6 weeks, that's like 6 × 7 42. Yeah. So that's 42 days minus 10 because we're gonna remove, Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and days when you're just gonna go out. That's like a month's worth of effort, a month's worth of results that you could have if you started right now. And that means that if you start now, by January, you will see results, and that's the best motivation to keep on going. I'm actually getting hot, hold on. Now let's talk a little bit more about habits and who you are and why it's so difficult to change them. So habits are automated behavior, right? The brain doesn't really like to make a lot of effort, spend a lot of energy, so things that you do every day just become habits. So it's like done on autopilot, and you don't really have to be fully conscious to do that. Think about when you drive to work, for example. You don't really have to think about everything, as opposed to when you get started with driving, when it's like really exhausting because you're learning everything and learning how to do the gears and everything, right? So that's why the more you do something, the more the neural pathways in the brain are just gonna get hardwired. I'm sure you've heard, you know, the neurons that fire together, wire together. So the more you do a habit, the more reinforced it gets into your brain, into who you are, into what you do, and the harder it is to break away from that. And that means that who you are and what you do now is just your default character, right? And you have to get out of that. You know, skipping the workout and maybe eating junk food, that's hardwired into you, and you have to sort of rewire that and change that. We're gonna talk about that in a second. It is difficult, but it's not impossible. The first thing, and I think the most important, maybe not the most, but one of the biggest, most important part of that is your environment. One of the easiest thing you can do when you want to change is changing your environment. Yes, it can be as big as moving to another country like I've done, that completely changed my lifestyle, but it can be as small as looking around your kitchen, seeing, okay, this snack, not healthy, let me give it away. Because obviously, if this is what you have around the house, this is what you're gonna eat because it is just easiest, right? Research by Wood in 2005 actually highlights how your environment and the external cues, so what you see, are gonna be huge factors as to not only who you are, but how difficult it may be to change, and basically your habits, right? So if you don't have an environment that is supportive to your goal, it's not that you fucked and there's no way around it, but kind of. So when you set your environment to support change and support the change that you want to make, the easiest it's gonna be. For example, going back to the snack in the kitchen, replace those snacks with healthy snacks. You know, you've got like fruits and you've got nuts and protein bars and protein shakes. If the things that you want to avoid are out of reach, it's gonna be way harder to reach them, and therefore it's gonna be easier if the healthy snacks are the options that are the easiest for you to grab. That's gonna be easier to stop reaching out for the food that you don't want to reach out to and actually get to the healthy stuff, right? You want to make it so easy for you to do the right things and very hard, if not impossible, for you to do the hard things. Oh, which book was it? I think it was The Power of Habits by Duhigg. Basically it said, let's say you don't want to watch TV, you would literally take your TV, unplug it, and then put it somewhere like hidden, like in a big wardrobe, for example. And therefore, every time you want to watch TV, you're like, oh my god, do I really want to do that to myself? But like maybe you want to, and you actually take it off the wardrobe and set it here and plug it. But that's how extreme you may want to be with the habits that you don't want to do versus the habits that you do want to do. Now, your environment is not just physical environment, it's also the people around you and like the support that you may be getting from them. Because the truth is, you become the people you're surrounding yourself with. So if it's not a supportive environment, we're gonna struggle, right? Let's say that you live in a house where there's always unhealthy snacks. That's gonna be difficult not to reach out for them. And if you are with people who don't really support your goal, that means that it's going to be way harder for you to reach them and to change. Obviously, I'm not telling you to completely cut out everyone of your life and, you know, just isolate yourself to do this. However, what could be useful is joining a community, joining a support group that will actually help you, you know, rising tides lift all ships. To reach a goal, you may want to surround yourself, however it may be, with people who can help you or who are on the same path. So a coaching program like mine, wink wink, would be really helpful because you've got this community and you've got me by your side literally every single day. I'm gonna be here. Did you do the workout? How is everything going? Challenge, boom, here is how to go through it. Having that person or group in your corner can change everything and really helps you completely transform and finally let go of the habits you don't want and becoming aware of those, because you might not, but I'm gonna call you on your bullshit. I'd be like, okay, this is a habit, this is a pattern, let's dig into that and change it. That was my shameless plug. Let's get back. Next, I've briefly talked about realistic expectations, but one of the biggest reasons why people fail when it comes to change is because they have this huge expectation that, oh, I'm gonna completely change from 0 to 100, complete 180 overnight. No, think about how long you've been the person that you are right now, this current version of you. Months, years, decades maybe. You're not gonna change overnight. Not gonna happen, not sustainable anyways, but definitely not gonna happen. It takes small, consistent steps. We're back to the what can you do right now, the smallest habit. Maybe it's getting rid of the junk food in the house. Maybe it's registering to a gym. Maybe it's getting a couple of dumbbells. Maybe it's joining a coaching program or a support group or a community. And if you realize that it will take time for you to change, if you come with realistic expectations of that's probably gonna take a little while, it gets easier. And with that being said, stress and high cortisol levels in the body definitely dysregulate you when it comes to change and when it comes to anything else for that matter. When you have high stress levels, high cortisol levels, you are actually more likely to overeat, skip the workout, not do the things you said you would do. And to tie it to what I was just saying, that means that unrealistic goals and trying to, lose 20 pounds this month is going to add up to the pressure and to the stress of, oh my god, I have to do it. That's when you take like really unsustainable, crazy extreme actions. Obviously you're going to revert back to who you were because it's so fucking uncomfortable. This is your comfort zone. You're here right now. And instead of trying to go a little bit, tippy toe outside of it, you're going like all the way up there. Of course, you're gonna run back home. So that's why you want to do manageable goals, manageable action plans, little steps. You're not gonna enjoy going to the gym for 2 hours every single day. You're not gonna enjoy, completely cutting out carbs or fat or whatever. So if you don't enjoy it just a tiny little bit, which you actually have to, you're not gonna stick with it. As easy as that, this is why you can't change. Spoiler alert for those who don't know, but I think I've said it a lot of times already. Whatever actions you're doing right now, to become a new version of you, to lose the weight and whatever, you will have to maintain even after you lose the weight, because that's how you will maintain that weight loss. With that being said, if whatever you're doing to change, be a new version of you and lose the weight doesn't work for you, you hate it, you hate intermittent fasting, you feel miserable doing low carbs, calories like really cut and daily cardio, you're in for a treat. Most people think that you can break habits with like sheer motivation and just willpower and power through it. But here's the truth, you cannot break a habit. Once the habit is wired into your brain, it's kind of for good. But obviously you've got neuroplasticity, so you can change stuff, but you can't break a habit, you can only change it. So what you want to do is replace any old habit that you don't want, like mindless snacking or smoking or whatever, skipping the gym, to the habit that you want. It has to be replaced, because if you just take it away, there's going to be some sort of hole in your routine and that's going to feel really uncomfortable, so you're going to go back to the old habit. For example, again, I think it's The Power of Habit or Atomic Habits, whichever. Those are two great books, by the way, in terms of habit. Like, highly suggest you read them. Let's say that you smoke cigarettes only in your car and you decide that you want to stop. So when you get in your car, if you don't reach out for that cigarette, it's gonna feel like something's missing. And it is, because you try to break instead of replacing it, because you have the habit of reaching out for the pack and actually taking one cigarette out of it, right? That means that you just have to replace it. For example, taking a gum, same sort of action. You place it exactly where it used to be, you reach out to it, you take the gum. Same thing. At first, you're gonna be a bit more conscious about what's going on, like, that's not a cigarette. But the more you do it, the more you're gonna rewire, your brain to doing that specific habit with the chewing gum instead of the cigarette. Now, let's get to the thing that I was mostly excited to talk to you about, which is the 5 stages of change by Prochaska and Di Clementi. Behavior change isn't really flipping a switch, but understanding how this works will make the biggest change. Pun unintended. First, you have pre-contemplation. That's when you're not really aware that there's a problem, when you're not even considering changing, right? Or that you don't believe that it's possible for you to fix it. For example, you might think, oh, I'll never get my dream body, so why bother? Second step is contemplation. Here, you're aware that there's a problem. The thing is, people get stuck in this contemplation phase for years when they're like, I know I should do something. Maybe they're gonna see a little bit of stuff online, for example, and they're gonna be like, should I do that? Should I do this? That's potentially, could that help me? But they're still not gonna take action. Usually where I find people is stuck in that contemplation phase of, I don't know what to do. And you're just sort of too overwhelmed to take action to actually change. Third, preparation. That's good. Things are starting to move forward. We're planning, we're writing things down. This is my goal. This is what I want to do. This is how I should get there. This is like the practical steps. These are the challenges, how to go around that. For example, you might research meal plans. You might research workout plans. It's when you're actively, preparing to take action. So preparation is still key, and that's a step you don't really want to forget about, because it is going to be key to set the stage for success. 4, obviously we've got action. We're starting to do the things, and again, this is another part where most people fail, because they try to jump like really high when they should just take a little bit of a first step. That's really when you're actively working out, maybe starting to fix your nutrition, trying to be in a deficit, maybe counting calories. But again, if you have skipped the earlier stages of having the right plan for your lifestyle, that's when you fuck up as well. It's good to do something and figure it out as you go, but you still need to adapt the plan as you go as well. The 5th stage is maintenance. So the key here is obviously to keep going and to maintain the new habits and maintain the changes that you've put in place. But even at the maintenance stage, you still have to be aware that you could always fall back. One thing that people ignore is that you will relapse, in the sense of you will fuck up, you will miss a workout, you will, not track your calories accurately, or be in surplus or whatever. So let's take the exact example that I've just given you. You've missed a workout. Okay, that's a relapse. You're at stage 6, right? I know I've just mentioned 5, but I fucked up. That's fine. Gonna roll with that. You've got this relapse phase, learning from it, asking yourself, why did I miss the workout? Oh, well, I stayed on my phone all night last night and I could not wake up at 5 a.m. like I usually do to go to a workout. Okay, makes sense. What can you do then to fix the problem? Maybe take your phone to another room. Maybe set your phone to whatever, to shut down at some time. Or sometimes it was not that deep. You missed a workout because you were sick. What can you do? But the thing is, you want to learn from the relapse, and if you accept that you are going to relapse, it's going to be way easier to maintain and to just do that cycle back up. Most people fail because, first of all, they don't know that there's a problem, they don't know what to do about it, feel overwhelmed, feel stuck, and they also fail because they lack the preparation that they need. It's always good to jump into the unknown, but it's also nice to start to have some sort of a plan to follow, hence why coaching program can be really helpful there, because it's literally, oh, you don't know what to do, here is the exact plan, exactly what worked for like so many women out there, it's gonna work for you. Then they forget that they're gonna relapse and they're gonna fuck up, and maybe they need that someone to tell them, you're gonna fuck up, you're gonna relapse, it's okay, let's figure out what to do and what went wrong. And that's something I really do really often in the coaching calls. Like, if something wrong happens, I'm gonna be like, okay, why? What happened? How can we turn this around? And that's how you do this circle of change. So now you want to ask yourself, where are you in terms of your weight loss goals, in terms of your fitness goals, or whatever other goals you may have? Actually, doesn't only apply to fitness, that's what I'm mostly comfortable talking about because, certified PT, but this applies to literally everything. I think that if you're watching this video, you're probably in contemplation or preparation mode. That's great, let's take action then. But you have to figure out where you're at. And then you want to take action, prove to yourself, self-efficacy, that you can do things, and keep on building from there. You have to realize it's normal, you can't change from 0 to 100. You are meant to fuck up, you are meant to bounce back and learn from your mistake. You are meant to do it progressively, you are meant to have a realistic plan. You are meant to, improve your environment as well. I think the best thing to do is start before the 1st of January, because there is this inherent, you're never gonna, because it's known, right? I don't know why everyone keeps doing the New Year's resolution when we all know that most people quit before February. Like, I don't know why that's still a thing. If you don't wait for January, if you start now, whether you have 3, whether you have 6 weeks to build that momentum, start seeing change, and that is going to be the best motivation to keep going. And that's the power of change, but it starts really small. It starts with small habits, and over time it's going to compound. Now, if you're someone who wants to lose 20 pounds within the next 90 days without starving yourself, spending hours doing cardio every single day, without saying goodbye to your favorite food or every social event, and of course without getting the weight back, I highly suggest you apply for one-on-one coaching below by booking a free call with me, just to see if and how I can support you. And if I can, I will 100% welcome you into my program. I've done it myself, my clients are doing it, so why not you? And if it doesn't work, if you do everything that I say, follow the plan, and nothing works, I refund you in full, because this is how confident I am that my method works. And yeah, that was pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.